It's Overland Q&A time, brought to you by SpeedX. I'm Sean Mayer from Expedition Extreme, and we're going to get straight into your questions and answer a couple of them today. We've got two awesome questions. One with regards to Kharif season, which is the monsoon season in Salalah, Oman, and a next question regarding lithium-ion batteries. Right, let's head into the first one after this announcement. The joys of filming in a live environment. Good. Announcement's done. Let's get on with it. Right, so let's have a look at this. On Instagram, received this from Chris. So Chris wants to know, I'm new to the UAE and I've heard a lot about this Kharif season, so monsoon season in Oman. Where is it and when does it happen? Okay, so a couple of things. Right, so Oman is a rather large country, and close to the Yemeni border, way down south, there is a region called Salalah with a city called Salalah. Now Salalah is on the sea level and it's surrounded by an escarpment, and I can't remember how many meters, but it's quite high. Call it a kilometer high. Don't give me flack if that's not the exact numbers, but it's there and thereabouts. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning that is that the winds change during the summer months, and it blows up the moisture from the ocean and it gets caught up against the escarpment and basically turns the environment for about, I would say, about 250 kilometers down the coast, up and down the coast, turns it into a monsoon rainforesty environment. Have a look at this footage right now, so I'll keep talking. This happens for about 4 months of the year. I would say the best time to get down there, the best weather that we've had is late August, early September, and that's you're going to ensure that you're going to get the most of the monsoon season. We have been there earlier, we have been there later. It does warm up when you get closer to the end of September, beginning of October, but it is just as lush, just as green, but you're not going to experience the misty, rainy weather at that time. So I would suggest anytime in August to September to get down there. If you've got to get down there earlier in July, by all means. Remember one thing though, Chris, that you don't be fooled with the temperatures here in the UAE reaching 45 up to 50 degrees Celsius during the July, August, September months. Down there, you're going to be reaching maximum of about 22, 23 degrees Celsius in the sun on the beach side. Once you get into the mountains and you're in the monsoon area where basically the misty rainforesty environment is, can be down to 15, 13 degrees Celsius during the day, and it drops even further at night. So don't be fooled by the hot weather here. The summer months, that's where you escape to. That's where you're going to have your summer vacation. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. I recommend it to all of you to get down there. We're definitely going to be down there this year. So maybe we'll do a tag-along tour for that as well. I don't know. Put some comments below if you want me to arrange something like that, and I'll take a bunch of you from Dubai and from Oman, and we'll go and explore the region over there. But it's absolutely breathtaking, as you could have seen in footage before. Right, time for the tip of the week. Let's roll that right now. It's that time of the week again, SpeedX tip of the week. Right, today we're going to be discussing a bit of maintenance. I've been rebuilding my truck, as most of you know, and we've been removing and replacing a lot of gear, and some of the gear that I've replaced is actually due to lack of maintenance. Now, it probably, if I wasn't replacing the gear, I would have had to replace it. It would have cost me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars doing that, especially when it gets to your suspension. Now, I didn't realize how many grease nipples there are under the vehicle. Now, obviously, you've got your prop shaft, you've got all kinds of your bearings that needs greasing, and you've got grease nipples all over the place. But the most important is your suspension. That's working all the time, and especially those guys that have got leaf springs. Tell you what, greasing those the bushes, absolutely important. Now, again, replacing your suspension could cost you $1,000, could cost you up to $2,000 depending on the vehicle. Simple as 20 dirhams for a multi-purpose grease and a 60 dirhams for a grease gun, less than $25, and you would have saved yourself $1,000 to $2,000 on basically replacing your suspension because you have not spent the time. Simple, guys. Onto the little grease nipple, pump it a couple of times, wait for the grease to get out there, and done. I think on my vehicle in total there's about 15 or 16 of these little nipples sticking out. Each vehicle will be different. It's not that difficult to get down there, have a look, jack up your vehicle, grab one of these little jack stands, again like 70 dirhams, prop it up there so it's nice and safe and you can get in there and you can do your work. Or if you want to spend a little bit more money, get one of these little wheelie things and you can run around at the bottom of your car greasing that car nicely and making sure that it's maintained well. So save yourself the big bucks by spending just a little bit less than $25. Get in there at least once a month and get yourself or your vehicle nice and greased up. Hope you enjoyed the tip. Catch you next week. Right, so our next question. On our Overland group here in the United Arab Emirates, I posted that I picked up a couple of lithium batteries and at a really good price, and the guys were discussing, and one of the questions came up from Roy Bargo, who's been on the show a number of times. Now Roy says, gents, if my main battery, hang on a second, got to get the code in here. Roy says, gents, if my regular car battery died, can you replace it with lithium? Now, Roy runs a Nissan Patrol, 5.6 litre petrol motor, V8, and we live in the environment of the United Arab Emirates, in the Middle East, in the Gulf, and we have summers that get up to 50 degrees Celsius, with the tar road probably reaching closer to 70 plus in the midday in the summer months. So, rule of thumb, I would say no, because the lithium-ion battery very, very prominently says on the side over there, do not go over excess of 60 degrees Celsius. Now, with the ambient temperature reaching 48, 50 degrees Celsius, the heat that's coming off the black tar would go way excess of that 60 degrees Celsius. However, there are a couple of guys that have been running lithium for the last 2 years in their engine bay, and have done a great job at insulating basically insulating the area so that the heat does not come off the engine. I would still say the lithium-ion batteries are so much lighter than the AGM batteries. They're smaller than the AGM batteries. We did a test not too long ago. The yellow top was 17.9 kgs. The lithium-ion battery was only 7 kgs, and it's smaller. So same 50 amp hour battery, similar amp hour, much smaller, much lighter. So if you've got space in your car, rather run it in your car or run it in your trailer than putting it in the engine bay. Now, once again, diesel motors don't get nearly as hot as your petrol motors, and Roy having a 5.6 litre V8, it's going to get a lot warmer in that engine bay. So once again, I replaced my yellow tops last year, same time, April vacation, we went down to Oman, I replaced the batteries. A year later, my AGM is dead. The yellow top, the Optima, is dead. So that's 1 year. They're supposed to be guaranteed for 2 years. I've never got more than 2 years out of that. And that's in my diesel engine bay, which doesn't get anywhere as hot as a petrol or gasoline motor. So, Roy, I used your question from the Overland group, mate, but thanks for the question nonetheless. And by the time this airs, there's probably going to be none of these batteries left. So hope you enjoyed the show, guys. Keep the questions coming and we'll chat to you next week.